All right, so we're gonna start with the front of the bus, and we're gonna look at all the items in front of the bus. And one quick tip, just make sure that we point and touch all the items that we can see. We can start with the bus itself. Make sure as we approach it that it's level, not leaning. If it's leaning, we wanna mention to the tester that we could have a tire inflation problem or an airbag problem. We could check under the bus for fluid leaks. Make sure there are no fluid leaks under the bus. There could be power steering fluid, windshield washer fluid. The wheel should be blocked if the bus is on an incline. I'm always listening for air leaks as I walk around the bus. And then to the items themselves, make sure all the headlights are securely mounted, not broken or damaged. And just go like that. Securely mounted, not broken, not damaged. No cracks, not milking color. They're clean. The windshield, make sure it's securely mounted, not broken, not damaged. There are no cracks, no pits, no illegal stickers, no discoloration. Make sure it's clean. Windshield wipers have to be securely mounted, not broken or damaged. I pull on them to show that there's proper tension, and then I point at the windshield wiper itself, make sure there are no cracks on it, no dry rot. I look at my clearance lights upstairs, make sure they're amber in color, and they're securely mounted, not broken or damaged or cracked. My mirrors, again, point and touch, make sure they're securely mounted, not broken, not damaged. And the mirror itself, as I come around, make sure it's clean, clear, no obstructions, no discoloration. And that's it. All right, so we move on to the front axle and specifically the front wheel. We can start talking about the tire itself. Make sure the tread is evenly worn with a minimum of 30 seconds depth. Make sure there's no debris between the treads, such as glass nails or screws. Make sure that the front wheel is not recapped or regrouped. The sidewalls, inside and outside, make sure there are no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. No dry rot. The tire pressure, we check with a tire gauge and make sure it's at the level that's marked on the sidewalls. The recommended pressure, cold tire pressure. The rim itself, make sure it's not damaged, bent, broken, no cracks, no illegal welding repairs, no rust trails, no spider cracks or oval holes around the bolt hole here. The lug nuts, make sure they're all present, securely tightened, no rust trails, and no silver threads. The hub seal, make sure it's all the hardware is present and it's not leaking. We go down to the mud flap, make sure it's securely mounted, not broken, not damaged. The valve stem and cap is located down here, and then we just inspect it, make sure that it's not damaged or broken, and the valve cap is present, not missing. All right, so now we talk about the front suspension, still part of the front axle. These are components that we can't see physically, so we have to tell the tester that, if I could see them, I would inspect the following. Also tell the tester, specifically for this bus is not equipped with springs, it's equipped with air ride suspension. So begin with the air ride suspension, make sure it's, all the hardware's present, everything's securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, and there are no air leaks. The airbags, make sure there's no dry rot, no leaks, securely mounted, not damaged. The airbag mounts are securely mounted, not broken, damaged. The air lines are hoses, so make sure they're not leaking, there's no dry rot, not cracked, make sure they're all securely tightened and fastened. The shocks, make sure they're all securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, not leaking since there's fluid in them. Bushings on the top and bottom are present and there's no dry rot in them. The torsion bars are part of the suspension system. Make sure they're securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, not cracked, not loose, not missing. And then any other bushings, make sure they're present and there's no dry rot. All right, so we also have to inspect leaf springs, even though the bus doesn't have them. It's just required by the test. So tell the tester, if this bus was equipped with springs, I would inspect the following, and then you go down the list. So start with the leaves themselves. Make sure they're securely mounted, not bent, broken, damaged, cracked. None of them are missing. The shackles, front and rear shackles, make sure they're securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, not cracked. Inside the shackles we have bushings. Again, inspect them, make sure they're not missing or dry rotted. And then the U-bolt or U-bolts hold everything together, so make sure they're present, all the hardware is present, not broken or damaged. All right, so we'll move on to the front brakes, and this is going to be very similar to the rear brakes, basically word for word. When you do the test, make sure you repeat it. You want to inspect both the front and the rear. So front brakes, make sure you tell the tester this bus is not equipped with drum brakes. So start with the brake rotors, make sure they're securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, not bent, cracked, no holes, no loose or missing nuts or bolts. The brake pads, make sure they're not worn too thin. The brake hoses, make sure there are no leaks, not cracked, frayed, all securely mounted. And the brake chambers, make sure they're securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, not leaking, no loose or missing clamps. Dust cover, make sure it's present and there's no dry rot on the dust cover. And then last, you mentioned that there's no oil or grease or contaminants on the rotor or on the pads. All right, so after you do the regular brakes, you tell the tester if this bus was equipped with drum brakes, I would inspect the following, and then you go on. So start with the drums themselves. Make sure the drums are securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, all hardware present, free of debris, no holes in the drums, no oil or grease or contaminants in the drums. The brake shoes are securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, not worn too thin, no loose or missing nuts, bolts, no holes on them, all hardware present. The brake hoses and brake chambers are basically the same. Brake chambers securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, no leaks, no loose or missing clamps, dust cover present, not missing, no dry rot on the dust cover. And then the brake hoses, brake lines, not cracked, frayed, or leaking, all securely mounted. Then we talk about slack adjuster and push rod. Everything is securely mounted, not broken, not damaged, all hardware present. And then we go into detail, slack adjuster and push rod. Make sure you tell the tester with the brakes released, the wheels blocked, we pull on the push rod, there should be no more than 1 inch of play on the push rod. All right, so the last part of the front axle, we have the steering components. So I like to think of it as just kind of following from the steering wheel all the way through the tire. So start with the steering box, make sure it's securely mounted, not broken or damaged. It's got power steering fluid in it, so it's not leaking. No loose or missing nuts or bolts, all hardware present. We have power steering hoses, so those have to be securely mounted, no dry rot, not cracked, not frayed, not leaking. We have the steering components after the steering box, which would be the pitman arm, the drag link, the tie rod ends. Make sure they're all securely mounted, not broken, not damaged. Make sure they're all properly lubricated, not worn or loose, not cracked. And then we have the U joint, the universal joint. So it connects the steering to the steering box. There could be 1 or 2. So U joints, make sure they're properly lubricated, free of debris, securely mounted, not broken, not damaged.